guys, this is Dr. Hub. Today we'll look at the probability. So it is expressed as a decimal fraction. So it is a decimal fraction, and it can never as a percentage. It is never a percentage. So it is denoted by the letter P. And what is it? It must lie. So it must lie between 0. 0 means there is a 0 probability and 1. What is 1? 1 means that there is an absolute certainty. Absolute certainty. So the probability of an event cannot be negative. The probability, it cannot be negative. So the probability of an event not occurring Q. So when you look at the probability, if you look at the probability of an event not occurring, that is a Q. So that is Q is equal to 1 minus P. So now let's look at some rules. So there is something known as the addition rule. So what is meant by the addition rule? So here the P that is of any one of several particular events. That is any one of the several particular events. So any of one of the several particular events occurring. So this is equal to the sum of their individual probabilities. So sum of their individual probabilities, and provided that the events cannot both happen and are mutually exclusive. So the events cannot, provided that the events cannot happen and are mutually exclusive. So events both can't happen, but they are mutually exclusive. So let's look at an example for the additional rule. So the probability of picking a heart card from a deck. So if you look at the probability of picking a heart card from a deck, so this is basically going to be 0.25 because it's going to be 1/4, right? And the probability of picking a club is also going to be 0.25. So what is P? So P is basically the heart or the club. So this is nothing but 0.25 plus 0.25. This is going to be 0.50. So we basically add them. Next comes the multiplication. The multiplication rule. So as per the multiplication rule, P, the P of 2 or more, okay, they are statistically independent events of all. It is statistically independent. It is independent events. So statistically independent events of all occurring, and is equal to the product of the individual probabilities. So is equal to the product of individual probabilities. Now let's look at the examples. So the example is that if the lifetime probability of a person, so in the lifetime probability of a person is developing a lung neoplasm. Okay, so assume the lifetime probability of a person is developing a lung neoplasm, that is equal to 0.25. And thus the lifetime probability of developing a dementia is going to be 0.01. Thus a P, the lung neoplasm and dementia. So P, the lung neoplasm and dementia. So in such cases, we multiply both as 0.25 into 0.01. This is equal to 0.0025. Next, we will look at the bimodal distribution. So in case of the bimodal distribution, the P of the occurrence of a specific combination of mutually exclusive independent events. That's P of the occurrence of specific combination, and this is of the mutually exclusive independent events of mutually exclusive independent events. So the event for which the bimodal distribution is used have only two outcomes. So the event which bimodal distribution is used, it has two outcomes. That is, it can be yes or no, and it can be tall or short, and then for example male or female. So what is the example here? So it is widely used in terms of the genetic counseling.